the Vacuuminator.
Buster?
And this week in Toku, we're fucking discussing everything. Everything happened this week. We got majorly piled on. Like, folks, let me just be honest with you. We've got the back half of Dino Fury Season 2. We've got Shin Ultraman. We've got the new Sentai team. We've got Pulsecon. And that's just the big stuff. There's a lot more. We got fucking stuff out the ass. But before that...
we got the fundamentals and the whatever you call the extra version of fundamentals.
I don't even know how that's an appropriate descriptor. Buster, how are you doing?
Sorry, I don't know for my lackluster descriptor, but I'm doing okay. It was actually a pretty okay day. I mean, it was a bit frustrating at first, but I got to vibe, watch the new DonBrothers episode at college, and just vibing.
Fair enough. I should have found a way to do that. I was up way too late last night watching stuff, and
no, you watched everything before you went to sleep. So
yeah, I spent most of this morning practically sleepwalking.
Oh, dang. Sorry about that. That's my fault.
It's not entirely your fault. That's kind of become an unfortunate pattern for me this last month. It's just I'm running on low sleep and energy drinks.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you're a millennial in 2022. I think a lot of people are.
I'll fix it eventually. Eventually.
We all say.
Yeah, but I have a goal in mind. I would like to do it by my birthday.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I don't think we have much else to say. Just, life has been happening.
Yeah.
But we should talk about last week. We got a couple different comments because we were talking about DonBrothers because it was a very frantic, very crazy episode. And we kind of got into it talking about how much stuff was kind of finally explained and delved into in that episode. And some people felt it was very important to remind us that part of a lot of the Juto/Bestial's relationship and the Inoues actually being good people was explained a few episodes earlier.
Yeah.
It might have been, but here's the thing. This show is fucking insane, and we don't have good memories.
Actually, I do remember, in episode 27, before the duel episode, I had to actually look up that episode for a school project, oddly enough, but, they did explain, hey, we are the good guys, and you might have created the Bestials, so, yeah.
See, I took that as more hinting at that. We couldn't exactly trust that information,
yeah.
but...
Maybe the subs were being more exposition-y than,
It's possible, but the point I'm hitting at here is when it was talked about earlier, I thought it was well, it could be this, but we don't know for sure. And then in this last week's episode, they made it explicit, and that's why I was kind of freaking out over it more so. And also, I don't remember the Inoues being as personable in any earlier episode, which is why it kind of struck me so much in that one.
Yeah, fair. Very fair.
Mm-hmm. But, it's just a thing. I wanted to kind of get back to those comments. Not to say, oh, you're wrong, shut the fuck up, but just, we took that in a different way. I wasn't trying to explicitly say, oh, they definitely didn't do this. It's just a different understanding of the media, which is part of why we do this. Everybody's going to have a different read on things they like or don't like.
Yeah. I mean, there's two co-hosts with very different opinions on Kamen Rider.
Mm-hmm. But hey, speaking of liking things, you should like this video. You should comment down below. Tell us some of your thoughts on some things that happened this week in Tokusatsu. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell in order to enable notifications so you get every episode of our show and the other two shows we do here on Modular Media. The No Prize Podcast, where we discuss the MCU and comics in general every week. And Modular Components, where we just kind of hang out and shoot the shit, occasionally having a guest on. And if you want to keep up with everything we're doing here at Modular Media, please go follow us on Twitter at The Modular Media and join our subreddit r/Modular Media. But folks, that is it for the plugs and the good housekeeping and all that. We're going to do things a little differently this week, though, because as I mentioned earlier, Dino Fury Season 2 Part 2 dropped this week. And it was originally intended to be the finale. There's a lot of spoilers, a lot of stuff happening in there, and we're gonna delve into it fully because it's kind of affects a lot of the stuff they discussed at Pulsecon, and there's kind of no way to talk about that stuff without going into spoilers, and that would kind of color our Dino Fury discussion before we even have it. So instead, we're just doing new releases first this week, starting with
Dino Fury Season 2, Part 2, episodes Ultimate Mystery through Nemesis, or episodes 12 through 22.
So
that
I
was
think we
pretty
both
good.
liked this. We liked it, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Bro, like, probably the best Hasbro era final arc we've had so far. We've only had 2, but like,
I think it's also just like the best chunk of Hasbro PR we've gotten so far. Like I really like how from the jump with Ultimate Mystery, this feels like, okay, final arc time, let's go. Like there's only one real episode that kind of takes a break and does some other stuff, and even then it's important to the arc of the season. And like there's very little filler, I'd say, in here. It all feels like it's building towards the finale in some way.
There is like your usual one-off plots, but there's always things in those episodes that build to the last episode.
Yeah, it feels like a consistent show, and just like quality of writing and acting feels like it's taken another step up here. Like there's some scenes in this that straight up feel like it's out of one of the early really good seasons of a CWDC show.
Yeah, I can see that, especially with the filters.
Mm-hmm. Specifically, like one of the scenes on RAFCON really got me. Like it felt like it was shot by somebody who would have shot a season 1 Arrow episode.
I can see that. Yeah, I know a lot of people like when the episode was airing early, they were like, "Wow, that's a great shot," and it's like, "Yeah."
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're not really gonna be too kid glovey about this. We're gonna start going right into spoilers and just kind of talking about what we want to talk about with this. So if you haven't seen it, hang on. If you haven't seen it yet, go pause our episode, go to Netflix, watch it, and come back. I think Hasbro really expected everybody to watch it day of anyway because of the way Pulsecon went down. So if by some chance you haven't seen it yet, go watch it now. We liked it. We thought it was very good. Let's get into some specific things. Can we just dive into the big thing I think everybody's going to want me to talk about?
Oh yeah, the clip show, the Morphin Master episode. All right, let's.
It's not even really a clip show. Like there are clips in it, yes, but it's like one scene, and specifically, I think a lot of people are going to want me to talk about the retconning of the legendary battle. Mm-hmm. I thought long and hard about this. It's fine. I don't dislike it. In the context of this episode and this show and the new lore they're establishing around the Morphin Masters, I think it's a fine retcon. However, it doesn't fix Megaforce for me. There's a lot of other problems with that show, and that the whole thing of the way the past Rangers show up and disappear was like one of the most minor ones for me. So, yeah. Let's define in the moment doesn't really affect my opinion of Megaforce because it's an entirely different show. I do find that whole sequence hilarious though, just because it's essentially Simon Bennett and Becca Barnes going, whenever you see something like this, a Morphin Master did it.
Yeah, okay, I said I hated it. Okay, that might be a bit too harsh, but it's definitely my least favorite aspect of the season, of this chunk of the season, of the episodes we're going to talk about, because it's just... Did we really need it? Did we? I mean, yeah. I guess, did we?
It feels like they're trying to cover their tracks at the last minute of like, oh, here's a bunch of stupid stuff from some seasons we worked on, and also a Megaforce thing.
Yeah, and it's like, they do like 2 Beast Morphers examples, and then a Megaforce example, which just feels like odd. I mean, I guess I get Megaforce is technically a modern season of Power Rangers. Even though it's almost starting 10 next year. Oh my god. But
that whole episode, what I both love and kind of dislike it because it is knuck and futz. It's like one of the most crazy lore dumps we've gotten in a long time. But also it felt like I was reading a Stan Lee Fantastic Four comic. Because they basically retcon, the Morphin Masters are just the Watchers. They have an oath of non-interference, but one of them has been interfering like crazy, and now we have to debate with these literal gods about why they shouldn't punish one of themselves.
And look, I love JRPGs, so I'm all for, like, god plots of, like, interacting with gods or attacking and dethroning gods. But this was one of the weaker ones I've seen in recent memory. This is probably my least favorite. I'm glad we got this out of the way because this is my least favorite episode of this whole chunk. Just because
it's definitely the weakest one, but
especially when his head goes out.
Yeah, it's really funny because
it comes
right on
flashbacks and it gave me Blaze Beast Morphers flashbacks, and I hated the way Blaze went out of Beast Morphers. So
I wouldn't go that far. Like I think it's fine considering the constraints of the kind of stuff they were working with.
Yeah,
but
and there is like more impressive
it could have been better. But I love the lesson they teach in that of like, just because somebody says you're going to be a big part of something doesn't mean you are the big part of something. Like that whole two-parter there of dealing with Zed, where Ion is basically Smokescreen from Transformers Prime. He's going, it's my destiny! I'm going to save everyone! And then he just gets his ass handed to him and barely helps the Morphin Master beat him. And it's like, well, the prophecy was still technically true because you were instrumental in Zed's downfall, just not in the way you fought. And you shouldn't take these things so seriously.
Yeah, it was a very interesting curveball they threw, like to make Ion's character more meaningful, which I hope they elaborate on in season 30. We'll get to that in the news section.
Yeah, and here's the thing: I actually really liked Ion in this chunk of episodes. I've been down on him for the longest time, but he kind of redeemed himself a little bit in this last bit.
Yeah, he definitely have that charm. He has the charm.
Mm-hmm. And he toned the I like snacks character trait way down, which I appreciated.
Yeah, that's an odd character trait. Like, what I guess you're gonna make your character Goku or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. The one episode he really goes hard on it is the Japan episode, and there it's kind of hilariously appropriate.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, he's a visitor, you know? Mm-hmm. He wants to try out all the snacks, you know?
Yeah, though that whole episode, I just kept thinking of the meme Sakura-Con commercial.
Oh yeah, I saw that clip you posted, and I'm like, oof.
I love Japan, period.
Yeah. Good. And it was at least it wasn't filmed in Japan, but budget restraints, and also it was still more respectful than Samurai. Let's be frank.
Yeah, they actually did a good job of making it look like Japan. The only thing I didn't like about it was Dr. Akana's Japanese colleague was clearly overdubbed like crazy.
Yeah, or like he was trying to emphasize some foreign speak with his accent.
I just kind of assumed he was a Kiwi, and they didn't want a Japanese guy in Japan speaking with a Kiwi accent.
Well, if it is overdubbed, I didn't mind it, but like the voice was it synced up well, but the voice was a bit much. But
it's a fun episode. I like the kind of interpersonal conflict between Ollie and his mom in that episode.
Oh, speaking of Ollie.
Yeah, Ollie gets some great stuff to do in this season. Like, I really like how quickly and efficiently they developed him and Amelia into a couple. Yeah. Like, I thought that was going to be in the final episode, because I saw it coming, but I didn't see it coming this soon. And it wasn't like whoa, this feels way too quick. It was like, oh, we're doing this now. That's nice.
Yeah. It was cute, and they do they still have interplay in episodes, so it's not just out of nowhere, quickly forgotten about, or into the finale.
And it's not like they go from the bickering brother sister dynamic straight to being completely in love. They still have their little I'm not sure if ghosts are real. Ghosts are real, honey, kind of thing going on.
Yeah, and that's a very cute relationship dynamic. I don't think we've seen in PR in a bit, or at least not in a healthy way. Yeah. Because some PR sometimes has very yikes relationship plots, like Joel and Miss Fairweather.
And then they just straight up remake I've Got a Spell on Blue, but good this time.
What episode was that?
That's the second or third episode of Samurai.
Javi Izzy, where they got brainwashed. Yeah.
No. I'm talking about the second or third episode of Samurai where Kevin gets brainwashed, and it's
where Blue's Blue Dino Fury is working for Zed a bit. Yeah, that was because here's the thing. I watched this season super segmented. I watched I watched a few episodes early in the Canadian rips, and then I watched the rest on Netflix. So it's
I watched the first two from Canada, but I then waited and actually rewatched the first two along with everything else.
Also, apologize to I'm sorry, Canada viewers. I keep saying Canada for some reason.
I just say it because it's funny.
Okay. All right. What else we got? Izzy and Fern. They had some cute moments. Like that's all I got.
I love the way Izzy tells Fern that she's a ranger without telling her. Like that is really good and really clever and fun. I don't know why she couldn't just outright tell her, given that Ollie's mom knows he's a ranger now. But it was still a very like clever writing trick that we've not seen in PR before.
Yeah, like it's a very, very like I like how Dino Fury in general is like playing with these like things you've seen, but like in new ways. You know, the
Trying to
Void.
let's save that to the end because that's kind of the big finale thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about RAFCON and actually going there and it like man, they just straight up fucking copied plot beats from Superman comics.
They kind of do, where it's like, oh, Superman visits a planet. The villain is kind of not Superman. Power Rangers visit a planet, and then like, they kind of Zed just accidentally blows it up, and apparently like, not accidentally. He accidentally? No, he purposely did it.
He knew it was going to do it. He just didn't care.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But like, I'm sorry.
But like
very off right now.
That whole scene where Zato is looking at the valley that used to be his hometown and he's getting all emotional, like that was beautifully shot, directed, and acted. Like everything just came together wonderfully in that scene and actually kind of hit me in a place.
Yeah, like very good. Like the music wasn't like too saccharine like it's been in Neo Saban. So it's like it was the perfect amount of like sweet,
Yeah, and I love the almost complete dynamic flip of Zato being the one who's getting really emotional and Ion having to say, "Dude, we need to focus on the mission right now."
Yeah, that very good, very subtle but great character writing there. Javi, I didn't get kind of.
Did Javi do anything this arc?
Did they even bring back his pancake rival?
No, the like biggest thing that happens to him is in the finale when they cut forward a few months. He gets a fan. That's his that's his like big resolution for the season. I mean, there is the episode about him briefly becoming famous, but like I saw that as being like more of like a backdoor Amelia episode. Yeah. And I do actually kind of like that. Like the show doesn't end with him becoming super famous. It's like, no, he now has a fan that he's met in real life. That is a big step forward from him from having to hide his music at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, and honestly, like this show, because like Buzz Blast is clearly like a BuzzFeed or like internet company, like not allegory, like stand-in. This show uses the internet very like mostly, except for that one episode where the kid hacked. Although that is still a thing that happens. It's not kids, it's crypto bros. But yeah, the show uses the internet very smartly. Like, and just like, it doesn't feel like fellow kids. It feels like, this is how people use the net.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of that Javi focus episode, I do want to ask because I forgot to check in the credits. Do you know? Was Human Mucus her voice actor?
I think I would have heard that by now, because I know Human Sliver from like a season ago was his voice actor.
Yeah, and he reappears. That's the big resolution for Mucus and Sliver is they snuck off and joined the circus.
Wait, I forgot about that.
Yeah, in the flash forward, you just see a poster of them that it's like, I don't know if it's the circus. It might be like a magic show or something.
Yeah.
But you just see their human forms standing together on a poster.
Well, that makes sense, because in Real Soldier, they also do something similar with them, so.
Okay. Yeah, and that was fine. My only thing was just like, I was curious if that was the voice actor, because it looked like the lip flaps were syncing up really well. And also, like, the first thing I thought when I saw that was like, oh no, Simon Bennett. You've seeded so many fetishes and you don't even know it.
Oh my god, really? That, of course.
Like, just fucking look at her, dude. That's gonna be like an offshoot of clown fetishes.
It is a clown.
A little bit, yeah. I never thought of it that way.
Just a clown, whatever. Can we move on?
I was more so thinking like she looked like Poppy if Poppy was even more a Mario Brothers character.
That's okay. That I can vibe with that description way more than what you first said.
Okay, what else?
Discuss the main characters by Zato and Amelia, but they're like finale. We did talk about them in the finale. I
guess we can kind of get into Amelia.
Yeah.
I love where they went with her because I really didn't see it coming. Like somebody pointed out that and you see it in a flashback in one episode, that they had hinted at her parents twice before, but I hadn't realized that was supposed to be like a plot thing. I thought it was just extra character flavoring of, hey, of just like, hey, I was raised by my grandpa, and that's a thing. And I was like, oh yeah, I know that's a thing in real life. I know several people who were raised by their grandparents. I didn't realize that was going to be part of the main plot.
Yeah, Pop-Up managed to like sneak his way from charming side character to an important part of the story. Chad, we stand. Amelia is Void Knight and Void Queen's daughter, which I know people were saying that from the beginning that was going to be a thing. I didn't believe them because I'm like, how is that going to work? But the way they explain it and the way it all lines up with the first episode, okay, this actually is brilliant. Never mind. Yeah. I give up. This isn't a stupid twist.
No, the way they handle it, it totally feels natural and earned, and like to the point where I called it the episode beforehand, and when you get to that scene when she's like mind melding with Pop-Up, I was like, she's gonna grow an antenna. She's gonna grow an antenna. Let's fucking go. Let's see these antenna.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I was feeling.
Yeah. What else?
I mean, let's just get into the fact that her parents are freaking the Voids.
Yeah, the Voids. Yeah, the Voids. They had some pretty good. They had some just mostly for endgame scheme. It was just more like also Void King gets this great line about loving his wife, and I'm like, great, you have 2 male wives in Toku at the same time.
Yeah, but like I was more so speaking because they're just kind of like for lack of a better term, kind of like a discount store Zed and Rita. Yeah, but like
that's good. Probably what they were going for.
Yeah, like I'd place them between Zed and Rita and Sledge and Poisandra as far as like iconic villain couples.
Yeah, I do prefer Knight or King, but that's just because he had a whole season to himself as the villain. So like he got more time to flesh himself out. Although Void Queen's still pretty cool. And actually, I take back what I said about her design not fitting in, because I realized something while I was watching. She fits into Ryu Soldier's chess motif really well. King, Queen, and then Waizul's like horse, and then like...
You mean like, a knight?
Knight? No, Wreckmate more... Wreckmate could be either horse or not. Waizul, like... And then the older villains are like the other, like... But yeah, she actually just hits me. This fits into the chess motif well. Bravo, production team. You made Tokuger and Ryu Soldier meld brilliantly somehow.
You made a suit from Tokuger meld in.
Yeah.
By using a name.
Yeah, and also, like, aesthetically, I just realized that it actually fits better. Like, when you actually see it, and then you see the context of the story and naming, I vibe with it way better than when it was initially revealed.
But, I was also more so speaking to just, like, the stuff they get to do in the finale with exploring their backstory and kind of the way Tarek acts as soon as he snaps out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed kind of like how the theme of the last few episodes was very much about choose love. Like it was playing that theme that's been in a lot of media the last few years. Like I could name just a couple things off the top of my head that Disney's put out that have been very explicitly about that, Thor Love and Thunder, Star Wars The Last Jedi, a couple other things. But like this is the best I've seen it done in a long time, where like everything characters are doing in those last few episodes, with convincing the Ravkonians not to invade, with Sato trying to sacrifice himself for the team, with Amelia going as hard as she possibly can to free her parents from the spell. Like all of that was just like really good show don't tell on the message of choose love.
Yeah, I actually did not realize that. I thought it was just more like redemption or something like... Or just, like, be good.
I mean, it's kind of both. I just chose to interpret it as choose love.
No, choose love is a better interpretation than what I was thinking, so, yeah. Mm-hmm. At least I find it a better interpretation, so kudos on you, Vac. You made me feel dumb.
Way! I did it. I won the podcast.
Yeah.
We're not even, like, halfway in. But no, that was great, and also just like I enjoyed getting expanded on Pop-Pop's backstory and like making him into a little bit of a badass, because he's just kind of been like, oh, the bumbling silly grandpa, and no, he gets some cool stuff to do here.
They pull a Ben 10 on him with the grandpa.
Sort of, kind of, yeah.
All he's missing is a secret organization of like plumbers.
And a big alien gun.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, they should have Hop Pop have a big alien gun in Cosmic Fury.
Yes, please. Or I'm not sure if any of the side cast of Dino Fury is going to come back for Cosmic Fury, but we'll talk about that when we get to that.
They did say explicitly someone is, and that they want to get more characters back. But I'll talk about that when we get to Pulsecon.
Okay.
But yeah, I enjoyed that, and I also just enjoyed the kind of expansion on the universe going forward with like. I kind of see this as like low-key setting up SPD's universe because the Rafconians start integrating into human society in the flash forward.
Of course, the SPD fan would say that.
They gotta do it sometime, dude. SPD takes place in 2024.
Yeah, okay. Oh God, we're 2 years away from 2024. Oh no.
Yeah.
I think that's the real reason people are speculating a reboot. It's like not because of any stupid franchise ones. It's because of
we can't contradict SPD and Time Force, and we're getting too close.
Yeah. I think all of us will be dead by the time Time Force happens.
Yeah, or I'll be like an old man in a hospital bed, still doing this show somehow. Like I also like just had some fun visual stuff in that flash forward because you freaking see Tarek wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and then you find out that Amelia's getting a sister, and Centaur's got a huge baby bump, and it's only supposed to be like a couple months later. Now, Rafconians could have a different gestation period, but it's literally just behind the scenes. Apparently her actress had gotten pregnant and they had been hiding it by having her only be in suit for most of the show. But then for those final scenes, like out in the desert, like apparently she was a week away from her due date and they were all just crossing their fingers that her water wouldn't break. Because the nearest hospital was an hour away.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. I mean, I'm glad everything worked out, but ooh.
Yeah, I know, like, and that's one of those things where I was like, that's hilarious to hear, but also like, dude, I know scheduling and budgets are difficult, but could you have not just like done it, I don't know, a month earlier?
Or at least like just keep the suit for a bit.
Yeah. But no, that was fun. I like that character revelation. And do we have anything we want to say before we get into the cliffhanger?
All right. Trying to think. What are we? Oh, the final battle. Okay. I want to explain now. There's a really good final battle. A really good use of both original footage and Real Soldier footage because a lot of this is original footage. And like,
there was only like one or two scenes where I was like, oh, that's clearly Real Soldier footage in this whole block.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of good original footage. Although I will say it is like I kind of had like I know they probably weren't gonna adapt this element from Real Soldier, but I wish they adapted the end of Evangelion-esque stakes of Real Soldier's finale.
What
but
the fuck?
Oh, I talked about. Okay, I didn't talk about it too much when I first watched Real Soldier, but like basically everyone is like comatose in the Real Soldier finale except the Rangers, and they have to like break out and like. Basically, the fate of like it's like everyone is basically set like is stuck in a dream world, and it's like the villain is like telling them to just give up and let Earth just be nothing. It's a bit dark, man.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's like when I saw that, all I could think of was like, man, that was a great finale, and this is a good finales too.
Yeah, I like this final battle. I like getting all the Zords involved and having the big
also
final
just
attack.
the final slash Zato. I'm pretty sure this was in Real Soldier, but like where he just combines all the Zords into a sword, and the sword grows giant, and it like slashes it. Yeah, baby.
That was proper Power Rangers hype shit.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Also, just to throw it back a little bit, I did really enjoy getting to see the Garcias all together on screen again in that karaoke episode. I completely forgot about that, but that was a really fun episode.
Yeah, that was cute. All right, let's get to the big one.
So, the big thing, and they set this up episodes in advance, which I really appreciate, is they get a new weapon early on to help fight Zed, the Dino Master Saber, and it's like, hey, this will give you a powered-up form. Anybody can use it. It's like the black box from Samurai. But also, it has a massive, super cool ultra attack that will use all the power of your Zords, but if you use it, you die. So... only use it in the most dire of circumstance. And Ion is like, I'm gonna fucking use that on Zed. I'm gonna fucking, and then he doesn't. But cut over to the finale, and Centaura as Void Queen has this big scary mega monster mash, and it's like, oh man, what are we gonna do? And Ion's like, well, we have no choice. I'm gonna use the sword. I'm gonna do the thing. And they're like, don't do the thing. Don't do the thing. We can try and break the spell. We can turn her back into Centaura. Okay, we'll do both. And then they do both. And Ion dies.
Zato uses the big attack.
Zato, sorry, I was saying Zato when I meant Ion. But they cut forward a few months, and everybody's happy. Everybody's kind of moved on in their lives, and they got good stuff going on. But then Zato comes back, and he's like, hey, I've got a new suit. The Morphin Masters gave me new powers, and I want to give you guys new powers as well, because Zed fucking escaped, and we gotta go get him. To be continued in Cosmic Fury.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this was written, because they said, like, okay, the interview, from what I heard, is like, there was talks near the end of Season 2 to do Season 3 of Dino Fury, or Cosmic Fury. And, like, I'm not sure if the scene was originally written, if it was just, like, gonna be, like, something they're like, oh, we'll resolve it in a crossover in the next adaptation.
Here's the thing. We didn't know if we were getting another season of Power Rangers at all 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it went on Simon Bennett's end, but I wonder if this wasn't almost written as and the story of Power Rangers continues in your mind kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much open to, like, endings like that. Like, I still consider the cliffhanger of Red vs. Blue Season 13 the actual end to the show because of how well done it was. And, like, that's nowhere near as good as Season 13, Red vs. Blue Season 13's cliffhanger. But this was, you know, if this was the end of Power Rangers, it's a suitable end.
Yeah, but that being said, I do love that they confirmed at Pulsecon Cosmic Fury is going to pick up right after that scene.
Yeah, so it's like we're going to immediately see, like, presumably Zato's new spaceship or whatever, and yeah.
I really hope that Cosmic Fury, based on this cliffhanger, is just, what if in space, but instead of Dark Spectre and the Turbo cast, it's Zed and the Dino Fury cast?
Okay, let's talk about the new suit. I know we're going to discuss original suits. So this is original
let's just talk about this one suit. I think it's fine. I don't love it, but I've seen way worse.
Okay, I actually kind of love this suit. The cape really sells it for me.
Oh, yeah,
the helmet could use working, but I do think it still blends in. I love the lightning bolt on the chest, the little red. And if they do want to add tweaks to the suit, I hope they pull what the Amazon Prime tick did between the pilot and the full series thing, where they have, like, okay, the pilot had a different suit than the full series, and they just, like, have a little line about, oh, your suit's different. It's like, I guess the teleportation, I guess the effects or something. And it's just, you know, something like that. If they want to add detailing to it, that's what I think. I don't know. It's still a fine suit if they want to keep it the way it is. And I do hope he does, because I kind of feel like Zato needs to keep that suit, or at least the color scheme of that suit for Cosmic Fury.
Yeah. Like maybe just do like a slight alteration to it to make it fit more in line with the other designs we saw at Pulsecon. But I think it's fine. I think it works as an original suit. And honestly, it like, this is gonna make people mad considering a Pulsecon thing we have to talk about. But it legit gave me Shishi Red Orion vibes.
Oh yeah. I was about to mention, like, oh, this is like the closest thing we're gonna get to a Q Ranger suit.
Mm-hmm.
More on that in a bit. Overall rating. Let's wrap it up. Why don't
this match episodes was great.
Yeah.
Overall, I think Dino Fury has been a great show. Yeah. Obviously, I think in the future, everyone's opinion is going to be a little bit colored by how Cosmic Fury goes. But Dino Fury on its own as a 2-season show as it stands, I think it's a 9 out of 10 season.
It's definitely climbing up there as my favorite. It's in my top 3, but then again, I need to rewatch a bunch of Power Rangers to make sure if I know what my top 3 is. But yeah, it's definitely up there as, like, it's surpassed Beast Morphers as my favorite Hasbro's. I mean, it's only, like, I do find
that is not a tall task for you. That's not saying anything.
Okay, but I like season 1. I like season 1, okay?
Okay, but whenever you talk about Beast Morphers, you're like, I like season 1. Season 2, though. Oh, God!
Yeah, fair. That's not a tall task, but, like, this is, like, probably one of the most consistent Power Ranger seasons we've had in a while. Yeah.
Because, like, it legitimately, it has a flow. The story feels like one long natural narrative.
Yeah, like there is like a weak finale, like not a weak finale, but like just a point where the story naturally has to stop for a bit so season 2 can happen. But like, yeah, overall, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and like comparing it to Beast Morphers, because you did that a little bit, but I haven't really said anything. Beast Morphers, I do feel suffers from being a 2-season show, whereas it's more of a strength with Dino Fury. Like,
Yeah.
I don't dislike season 2 of Beast Morphers as strongly as you do, but I definitely agree that there's a little bit of a shift in the way the show is handled going into
Very
the
much
second
so.
season, and it feels a little bumpy at times. Like, oh, we're doing this now, okay.
Yeah, that was a part of my big problem. It's not just the changes they made in season 2, it's what like the shift, like the way they transitioned into those changes for season 2.
And it's especially helped out here in Dino Fury with stuff like Amelia's parentage being revealed here, and us realizing, like, oh, they've been teasing that since like episode 3.
Yeah, like it feels like they have ideas and plot lines that they've been setting up since episode 1. So, yeah.
And I hope they can kind of keep that feel going in Cosmic Fury. I won't be horribly angry and disappointed if they don't, but I would like it if, like, we can continue to develop Hobby's career a little bit or something like that.
Yeah, although like with it being space, I expect it to basically just be an extended Power Rangers movie, like or just like superhero Tyson equivalent or something, just where it's just like fight, and like flashy fight. That I'm expecting just a lot of fighting and Cosmic Fury with how the stakes are going and how
I'm sure there will be plenty of fighting, but I also want character development.
Yeah, me too. I'm just like I don't expect any character at the moment. I'm just kind of going in with the mindset that yeah, they're probably writing this with the intention of just being a big anniversary aesthetic blowout. So just yeah. I think that's it for Dino Fury. You can find our tier list on Twitter about where it ranks compared to other Power Ranger seasons.
Yeah, and I think that's the first time I'd ever done a ranking of a proper tier list style ranking of Power Ranger seasons. So that was interesting for me as well to discover where some things lie. So go look up that tweet if you haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it for Dino Fury. Let's go ahead and move on after 38 minutes. Jesus Christ, this is a long. The fucking universe, man. The universe just went and looked at last week's episode and went, you did an episode that's less than an hour, did you? That's cute.
Yeah, let's get onto our first Ultraman related topic. Ultraman Decker, episode 12. Neo Mega Strikes Back.
This episode was a lot of fun.
Yeah, very much like a culmination of the end of the first arc kinda episode.
Mm-hmm. I love how much Hanejiro has gone from just being like, oh, merchandise selling mascot character to legitimately one of the most fun characters in the show.
Yeah, we stand.
Like the scene where they're in the jet attacking the monster, and Hanajiro just goes, "Oh, this isn't working. Kaneda transform." What? And he just fucking ejects him. That was the funniest thing. But no, I love that. Also really enjoyed getting to see like the whole Neo Megas plot come about and come back, because that I almost thought like that episode with the vice captain and her past and the whole like man-made monsters thing. I thought that was just going to be like a one-off little like fun sci-fi social commentary plot, but no, that's tying back into the proper plot of the season with the spheres coming in and taking over Neo Megas. And it's really fun and interesting how they get that to do, and it makes the spheres feel more like a credible, real threat rather than just being like set dressing for the kind of stories they want to tell this season. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, like the spears have been really well utilized in Decker so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like the ways they've been like they're telling stories like about their effects or just about the spears. It's just good stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm very interested to see the payoff for it.
And just the overall feel of this episode, where like you were right, it feels like a I don't know if it feels like a finale of the first arc, because we're kind of past that point with the fact that this is a 20 episode show and this is episode 12. But it feels like this would be a mid-season finale in a Western show because you have that big battle scene where all these extras come out dressed as Guts agents, and that was really cool.
Well, I mean, it's a 25 episode show, and usually episode 13 of Ultraman shows are clip shows, and that leads into the second half, so.
Yeah, and it looks like we're getting that next week. Though the new scenes they showed in that preview got me interested enough that I'm gonna watch next
They
week.
look fine. I mean, I will watch just because it's labeled as a proper episode. It's not just a clip show. But just I'm not as excited. I was Decker's basically gonna be on break next week, which is fine.
Yeah, and that is a little disappointing with the big twist they have at the end of this episode, where I can't believe it's not George Karzaki goes to look at Hanijiro's data and finds a heavily protected file that's just all the recordings of all the time him and Kaneda have discussed Kaneda being Decker.
Yeah, so it's he knows. He knows.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see, because I could see that going one of two ways. Either he's going to come up and be like, all right, I know, how can I help you? Or he's going to report him to the captain, and it's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah, or he might take matters into his own hands, and because we've had Ultraman Mecha rivalries before, and Ginga, we might get another one of those. So he might build a new mech to for either to fight Decker or something.
Which, by the way, that reminds me, the final attack of Hanijiro's mech, his Hulkbuster armor, that was way more badass than I expected it to be. That was such a cool little transformation thing. I didn't even imagine that those big solar panel looking things could fold down like that.
Yeah, very, very cool. It's just a neat episode. I don't got much to say on it. It's a neat episode, and it's I'm excited to see where it leads in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Decker's good. Decker good. Good show.
Decker good. It's good. I like Decker.
God, is that supposed to be me?
No, that's me, and that's me and my monkey brain agreeing with you.
Okay. Let's move on to superhero time with Kamen Geats, episode 5, Encounter 4, Double Concentration.
Takahashi out here straight up recycling plots.
What plot did he recycle this week?
You didn't fucking pick up on it?
Buffa wanting to eat the rich?
Bro, Buffa is just a reskin of Snipe.
So
he has a friend that died that he's trying to live up to the example of and possibly bring back.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has a rivalry with the big fancy boy character.
Yeah, oh my god.
He's literally just Snipe.
Yeah, but
I still like him, but the whole episode after they showed that flashback, I was like, oh my god, Takahashi, are you kidding me?
It's still a good. There's still enough differences between Snipe and Buffa that I'm they're not it's there's one thing of using tropes, but he's putting some twist on it. Buffa, I got more eat the rich vibe from him. Or just
I love the conversation between him and Geats before they actually go to the game.
Yeah, and at the end of the episode too, it's just man, their rivalry is very both homoerotic and interesting.
And I mean, there's more interesting stuff going on in this episode, more fun stuff, Kamen Rider Snake Eyes. I mean, Pump Jack.
Yeah, Punk Jack is cute. Apparently, a lot of the movements the suit actor did were improvised, which is cute.
It just straight up reminded me of the way Snake Eyes is handled in G.I. Joe stories, because he's silent and he only gives the barest indication of what he means.
Yeah, it's great. Punk Jack is cute. Very, very neat suit. I kind of hope we see him more, or just more Punk Jacks, because that might.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's here till the end of the month, given that it's Halloween.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that would be neat. Maybe he's a secret Halloween boss or something. That would be cute.
Yeah. And I like the way they play into it, because the whole plot of the episode is you got to break up into tag teams, but there's not 4 of you, there's 5 of you. So Mary, you're getting a bot. We're gonna assign you a bot.
Yeah, that's great. It's great. Or they call it the Desire Grand Prix staff. So he's probably not getting murked, but he's on duty, to do stuff. Mm-hmm. Also, we got some new gears this episode, little power ups.
Yeah, we got arms. We didn't get proper forms, but we got the claws and we got the chain. The claws are really neat. They're very fitting for Nago.
Yeah.
But the chain, like, I don't know who that's supposed to go with.
Yeah, I think it was maybe supposed to go with Punk Jack because like orange, but like and that so it makes it funnier when Mary uses it for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that. And then
yeah,
one thing I really love about this episode is the whole subplot with Nago and Geats, because
yeah,
this episode is more so about Tycoon and Buffa, but like Nago and Geats have this whole subplot of figuring out the way the game works, and they never tell us what Geats figured out. Like they show him beating the monsters, but they don't go into like exposition of here's why he's doing this, and I really appreciated that. We still have room for like realizing stuff as like Tycoon and Buffa figure it out next episode.
yeah, and also just like it's a 2 episode like 2 episode arcs they're doing at the moment, which I kind of hope sticks around for a bit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we're still very much in the infancy of this show, but Geats is doing a better job with two-parters than I've seen Kamen Rider do in a long time.
Yeah, especially because it's doing them right off the bat, not like midway through. And I do
Well, there
like
are some Kamen Rider shows that are entirely two-parters, dude.
yeah,
Like
that's what I'm saying.
Wizard and Drive.
That's what I'm saying. They do it right off the bat, and like Revice and like sometimes Saber did it midway through the show, and it's like it felt like.
Oh yeah, okay, I see where you were going with that.
Like, I'm talking about like current stuff, not like Keisei.
Yeah. Also, just like a small aesthetic thing, I didn't realize Geats had 2 arm blasters when he uses Magnum. I just thought there was one for the opposite arm from him holding the Magnum shooter.
Yeah. Just good. Yeah, and it's also nice that we like it's only episode 5 and Geats has gotten his base form back only now.
Yeah, and they actually do a cool world building thing of saying like, yeah, Geats is supposed to have Magnum and Buffa is supposed to have Zombie because only those riders can use those forms to their fullest potential.
Yeah, which is going to be very interesting how because we already know Nago and Tycoon are at least going to get their gear buckles. And also that might be a thing of like, the riders we've seen in the past, like Ginpin, like what if they like if my multiple Desire Grand Prix theory comes true, what if they come back and we see their full gears later on?
It's entirely possible.
Like, yeah.
But also, I've heard about what Tycoon's is going to be, and we've got a news article for it later.
Yeah.
What's Nago's? Has it been said?
They have a plushie, but it's silhouetted at the moment. They have not shown it.
Okay.
They just
and
shown,
we don't have a name?
Not a name, but just like, here is Nago's full form plushie. It is silhouetted. Buy it anyway.
But, yeah, I think that's everything I have to say. This is just a really solid episode.
Yeah, good Geats. Alright. Avataro Sentai DonBrothers, episode 31, The Hound Unmasked. Lie! That's what we call lying.
So, I definitely got a little bit ahead of myself last week.
Yeah.
But, at the same time, I really have no one to blame by myself, because Inoue is kind of known for doing this shit, and I should have expected it.
Yeah, like, I've watched a bunch of Inoue shows over the last year, so, I've kind of become familiar with his tropes.
Like, this is literally just goofy Inoue misunderstandings the episode.
Yeah, I'm just surprised it only took this long for it to get on people's nerves, because it got on a lot of people's nerves I've seen. But, I'm like, bro, like, this thing, if this was a Kamen Rider like Agito, this would be happening in the 20s.
Yeah, and I mean, like, he's at least self-aware of this kind. There's a fucking scene in this where he takes time out to parody his own character, arguably his most famous character, Black Condor.
That's an actual character song, like, no,
I know that, but I'm talking about the scene in Cafe Dombra where the fake Inu brother is going like, "Oh, I'm a lone wolf," and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is literally just in a way going, God, Black Condor was a silly character, wasn't he?
Yeah, or just like, just a little tongue in cheek, like, yeah, remember Black Condor? Those were the days, yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of enjoyed that. Like, honestly, I was upset that we didn't at least end with them finding out who Inu really is, but the whole episode I was enjoying myself. Like, there's a lot of fun little moments in this episode.
Yeah, it's just very entertaining. It feels like this is coming up as a weird trend with, like, late second half DonBrothers where there's a bunch of plot episodes, then here's an Inu brother filler.
Yeah. And
I
I love.
don't mind. I love Inu and I love Tsubasa a lot, and it's like it's still building on his character and but like still, I just find a fun trend that I want to point out.
Yeah, and I mean, like, he is still getting closer to figuring out what the heck's going on, because, like, he almost meets Mihu this episode, and then he chickens out.
Yeah, which understandable, or not even chickened out. Just the wacky Inoue misunderstanding machine is on full force.
Yeah. But then a couple scenes later, we get probably my favorite scene in the whole episode, where fucking Tsuyoshi and I can't believe it's not Inu brother are about to fight, and Miho just walks in between them, throws down a picnic blanket, and is like, "Bitch, get over here," and then starts cleaning his ear and is like, "I'm his wife. You're not gonna change that. Fuck off, fuck boy."
Yeah, that was so cute. That was so cute, but like, oh god, this man is broken.
That man is whipped.
Yeah.
And he asked for it too, because we also get to see how him and Miho met this episode, and it's literally just he kept going back to the same hair salon and asking her out. He fucking Steve Urkel'd her.
Merry Halloween, everybody! Stand evil Urkel.
Yeah, it was a great episode. Like, even just like, I love how the episode opens with everyone on the team but Inu brother hanging out and having a good time, and then they're like, "Man, it sucks Inu brother's not here." And Taro's like, "Yeah, we should probably fucking fix that this week."
Yeah, it just like, let's take action. Also, we get that we got the Inu brother in the raid scene earlier than I expect. Like very early in this episode, they're like, we know you all want it, and it's like, tasty reaction images. I will take it, and it is my fuel.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even like the stuff with the monster of the week was really fun, because
Yeah.
like it starts off as being one thing and then it switches to a different guy, which
Yeah.
is like crazy. I've never seen that happen with a monster of the week
I'm trying to
before.
figure out how that relates to Gosager. Because this was
I don't know.
Gosager based.
Maybe
We haven't really been talking
Gosei
about
Green dying.
I guess I haven't finished Gosager, but we haven't been talking about the Sentai monsters a lot, but like they've been like from the little bits and pieces people on social media have been connecting. They're still doing a pretty good job. It's just there's other shit going on.
It just hasn't been that explicit in a minute.
Yeah, like I think the last one I pointed out was the Go Busters one, and that's just because I'm a big Go Busters mark.
Yeah, but this episode, the monster was straight up shouting like "Seek power" and all that shit.
Yeah, like I think they even used sound effects from Gosager.
But also like I really loved that scene where the monster switches bodies because the guy who is hosting it falls in love.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
Like I don't know if you've ever seen that before, Buster, but I know that's a huge trope in Japanese romance of the fat guy falling in love with a skinny little girl who likes a man with a big appetite.
Huh. I've seen that, but like I just never really thought of it that way. Yeah, but DonBrothers is pretty good this week. Yeah, everything was at least like for the main episodes. We'll get to the movie in a minute. Everything this week was pretty good. Like good eights, not the best they've been, but like solid. Like why we like these shows,
Definitely.
Yeah, Geats might have had their best one yet, but like that might be like maybe that'll be better in retrospect. Let's get into the big boy. All right, do you want to explain this or should I?
1 second. Actually, mute your mic. I gotta do a thing real quick.
Okay.
All right, so what are we talking about next? I forgot.
Well, we got some Shins to Ultramans, because guess what we both saw?
Yeah, for those of you who aren't aware, Sunday afternoon, a copy of Shin Ultraman with official English subs started making its way around the website.
Yeah.
That website, the one where you get your tokusatsu. We're not going to say which one. But if you have a website where you get all your tokusatsu, you can probably find it there. And here's the thing, I think I know exactly what this is.
What?
I think this is a leaked copy of the version they showed at the Toronto Film Festival, because it's got poor image quality, official hard subs.
Yeah, or like it might be like because they've been doing a lot of film festivals and conventions. And so maybe someone probably leaked it. I don't know. But like we saw the film.
Somebody definitely leaked it because the uploader on the website where we got it from was anonymous.
Oh.
And the only other time somebody uploads anonymous Toku subs to that website, it's TV Nihon. And these weren't TV Nihon subs.
Yeah. So like there was also like Google Cast on the beginning of the recording, so I don't know.
But
Yeah, we saw. We're just
Fuck.
gonna talk about it because it's out in Japan, and it's gonna be out in America eventually. So
Wait,
screw it.
real quick. Do you think it's good? Should people go watch it?
Yes, people should watch this film.
Yeah, this is a great movie. This is a good. If listen, like, if you fucking liked Shin Godzilla, you're gonna like this. Because honestly, and this might be a bit of a hot take. I don't know. We haven't talked about it yet, Buster. I kind of feel like this is just Shin Godzilla with an Ultraman coat of paint.
Definitely an evolution of the Shin Godzilla thematics, because
Mhm.
I like it is very much like especially in theming and like especially the messages towards the end. It very much does have. It's like
Like,
it's
I
a
could almost see it
spiritual.
taking place in the same world as Shin Godzilla. Because we're just gonna go ahead and dive into spoilers now. Go watch the movie if you haven't yet. The most hype thing in the movie for me was literally that opening title where they recreate the Ultra Q smash into Ultraman, but it's Shin Godzilla smash into Shin Ultraman. I'm like, how many fucking documents did they have to sign to get that cleared with Toho?
I think doesn't Toho distribute Shin Ultraman in Japan? I think I could be wrong.
I don't know, but like when I saw that, I like did a little hop out of my seat, like, yo.
Yeah, because like when they showed the first minute of the film, like
That wasn't
online,
there.
that wasn't there. Yeah, and so us seeing that for the first time in the full movie, that was like, whoa! Like I was like, yeah, I was actually laughing like hard when they did it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is totally a spiritual sequel to the themes of Shin Godzilla
And
and
like
what it represents.
And like going back to what I was saying with I could see this taking place in the same world, there's this whole huge opening montage of like here's all this stuff that the science this movie's version of the Science Squad has dealt with up to this point and kind of how they were created. That's a bunch of homages to Ultra Q, and it starts off with like Kaiju number 1 and so on so and forth. I could almost see they don't say it obviously because fucking film rights and shit, but maybe Shin Godzilla was Kaiju number 0.
Oh well, they definitely reused the Shin Godzilla like design for the Gomez, because if you know, Gomez is just a reused Godzilla suit.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt like that. Well, there wasn't a Godzilla suit. Godzilla was completely CGI in that
Yeah,
movie.
well, you know what?
It's the model with a new color scheme.
Yeah, that's what I
Um,
meant.
and
uh,
that's something I should also talk about with this movie real quick. I don't think the effects were as good as Shin Godzilla. They're not bad, but like there are
keep in mind,
most of the time.
we were watching a low quality copy compared to the HD copy of Shin Godzilla we've had for years.
True, but I think if I saw this in true HD, I'd feel maybe even more strongly about it because the thing about Shin Godzilla, I thought that was suit acting until the Blu-ray came out and we found out it was a CGI model of Godzilla. There is no question in my mind the entire time. Yeah, no, Ultraman is a CG model that was mocapped.
Yeah, okay, fair. I do understand that, but like the movement and the way like the way the characters pose still feels authentic, and it does kind of give it like that alien, because the movie is very much about humans' relationship with the unknown. So like it does, like I do think that actually enhances the movie rather than detracts. In
Mhm.
this case.
And I mean, very much like Shin Godzilla, Anno is wearing his politics on his chest like a fucking 1980s gold medallion, just going like, yo, Japan should be able to be more independent, but like, we don't need to be the dominant nation in the world because that would very quickly go to our head.
Yeah. Also, I should like clarify because people are going to mention in the comments. Shinji Higuchi directed the film. Ano wrote and produced it.
hmm But like Higuchi
But
does a
still,
great job of again making this feel very similar to Shin Godzilla. Like there's much like it's not as crazy as it is in Shin Godzilla, but there is still a ton of very quick blink and you'll miss it exposition and quick cutting just to like give you the barest impression of like, hey, this is a thing.
yeah, like the exposition scenes are just as well shot as in Shin Godzilla, because that's also like honestly like Shin Godzilla made exposition exciting, and I'm glad to say that continues into Shin Ultraman. What else?
Yeah.
What else?
And like but then there's also some slower ones that are still very neat and unique in a way that's set apart from Shin Godzilla. Like
Yeah,
that
especially towards the end.
I'm more so talking about after the initial fight when we're introduced to Ultraman's buddy and she's walking into work, and you just see like all these groups of people on the street talking about what we just saw and kind of their thoughts and feelings on kaiju, and
Yeah.
like establishing the mood of Japan during this time. That was really cool.
Yeah, there're just so many good shots and editing in this film.
Mhm.
And I
I
like the
also
like
love how they did a lot of little things. There's a lot of changes to the original Ultraman mythos in this, but they all feel like they work for this story. And some of them are really fun, and some of them are like, oh fuck. Like I like that we kind of skip over the actual origin in here. Like you get the tiny little impression of it, and it's made explicit later in the movie, but it's not like in the original pilot where there's like a 5-minute exposition scene of Ultraman talking to I forget the original character's name. But talking to him and being like, "Yo, I need your body, and if you don't give me your body, you're gonna die. So give me your body."
you've watched all of Ultraman 66, right?
I have watched Ultra Q, Ultraman 66, Naos, and the three most recent shows.
Okay, because I'm more of like recent. I have still not finished 66. I sorry to say. So like a few of these changes, I'm like I think a few of them were in the show, but I know like I need you to like tell me the big changes they made that you.
Okay, so the ending of the movie is very spiritually similar to 66, but it's changed around a whole bunch. Like the Zeton have no connection to the Land of Light in 66. It's like a thing that comes out of nowhere, and all episode they are desperately trying to stop it, and then Ultraman gets fucking mooked by it, and then Zoffy shows up and is like, yo, you did your best. We're just gonna magic this thing away and give you your life back. And Ultraman and I are gonna go back to the Land of Light. See ya. Like that's the ending of the original Ultraman series. But here it's like Zoffy shows up and establishes that in this universe, the Land of Light, or they call it the Planet of Light, they're basically the Guardians of the Universe from Green Lantern. They're like, oh, Earth's doing stupid shit. Well, we're secretly evil, so we're just gonna destroy it. Here's a super weapon.
Well, I wouldn't say secretly evil, like because
they're bastards who don't get it.
Yeah, because we basically have to understand, like, if we're gonna have to go with the like, I'm gonna have to sorry to bring this argument out, the more realistic take, like if the land where the light may not be like, if we like again, I use realistic in quotes. Like, probably in the real world, the Land of Light wouldn't be so, like, open to us humans, like, initially. So, like, yeah, this plot line change makes sense, and it's very threatening, especially with how Zoffy, like, stares down and is very menacing in this film.
Yeah, when Zoffy just shows up as Ultraman is looking at his host's dead body, and Zoffy's just like, yo, you've been doing fuckboy shit. You got to come back to the planet with me and face consequences. And he's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, Koichi Yamadera does a scarily good job as Zoffy in this film.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget Hideaki Anno doing the mocap.
Yeah, he did the mocap, I think, for... I'm not sure if it's Zoffy, but I think one of the Proto-Ultraman, when he's black.
No, I heard he did Zoffy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, given Zoffy doesn't have much movement, so that they probably could have gotten away with that.
Mm-hmm. But I also like that kind of subtle beat of, again, what you were talking about, Proto-Ultraman. He doesn't have the red stripes right away. Like, I don't think they say why explicitly in the movie, but I kind of got the sense of like, oh, he did that to appear more friendly.
Oh, okay. I think that they might have taken an element from Tiga. I could be completely wrong, but Tiga also had a similar type change thing. Especially like I was like, as soon as Ultraman turned green in that film, I was like, oh, Tiga reference, or like I could be wrong, but like
it's entirely possible. But yeah, they kind of take the ending from the original show and rework it a little bit, where they do stop Zeton, but it's at the cost of Ultraman. And then Zoffy's like, so do you want to come back now, or am I going to leave you in this fucking nothing void? And he's like, give the human his life back, please.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, that ending shot, and it's like, welcome home, and it's like, and then immediately cut to M87, the film's theme. Just, oh, that hit me in the heart. I was like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I love that we never find out if the human host remembers everything or not. It's just straight up, you don't need to know that.
yeah, it's like you're already at your emotional peak. We're gonna end it here.
But that
And
being said, he does like his character does play into the film. Like Ultraman says a couple of times, like, "Oh, the human in me is making me want to fight
yeah,
this way," and
they
like
give
the guy goes out in a heroic way. He's trying to save a kid from the kaiju.
yeah, it's
It's
like
not
they're
like in the original show where
just
I can't
plane
remember the
crash.
guy's name at all. Like he's just fucking around in his super plane.
Yeah. What else? There's a thing I just so much thematic depth to analyze, especially because we kind of skipped over the middle part of the movie. Because the movie, like some people have complained about the structure I've seen, but like it's basically Ultraman's greatest hits.
Yeah, the
Um,
movie feels like 5 episodes of a show strung together, but that's
yeah,
really cool and fitting for this. And it kind of escalates. It goes from kaiju are a thing to here's a kaiju that we don't know if we can beat to here's a really scary kaiju that could fuck everything up to oh aliens are a thing and they're gonna fuck with us to oh this is an even worse alien than the last one. How are we gonna stop this? To
yeah.
oh, Dad's here, and he's told us playtime is over.
Yeah, it's just the escalation is just like insane. This is what like that feels theatrical. The escalation,
Mhm.
like they could not like they could probably do this on a TV budget, but it wouldn't be nearly as impactful. Um,
Yeah, and I love how like it's all kind of strung together through Ultraman himself and his character progression and the kind of journey he goes on from very early on being just like what is a human to man on the run who's still trying to save the world.
yeah, it's man, they really went full like show up protagonist. I am the most badass character you will ever meet, like with Ultraman in this film.
Yeah, I had a split second when his identity got outed. I was like, is it somehow going to be magicked back into the bottle for everyone except maybe the team after they beat this alien? But no, they just straight up stuck with it.
Yeah, and it's like that it's the little things. Like it's these little like connecting threads that like make it feel like this is a full movie. Like it's not a traditional narrative structure, but the little threads make it feel like a full story by the time it's all over, you know?
Yeah, like Ano has this very particular writing style these days. I don't know how prevalent it is in Ava, but of having these very fast-paced, high octane, dialogue driven stories that are dealing with big cosmic threats and like showing it in a very regimented governmental here's the facts of how it was taken care of kind of way that I've only ever seen in like one other work, and that's the book World War Z. I actually realized that today because I started rereading it or re-listening to it at work.
Hmm, interesting. Yeah, but and it's like this film like continues kind of the commentary on yeah, humans are whack from like Shin Godzilla, but also we can survive like and I feel like the hope is even like further emphasized with Ultraman because Ultraman is like inherently a hopeful character. So of
Mhm.
course it's gonna feel more like there's still a sense of huge dread, especially when the Zedon beam and you see everyone like kind of panicking in their last moments.
Yeah,
Possible as
that scene where it's like assembling in space and you hear it say Zeton, that was a legitimate pants to be darkened moment.
yeah, it's just awe-inspiring visuals, like very much so. What and it's like
I also really dug like even though I was kind of down on the effects, I love the way Ultraman moves in this movie because it's very deliberate, but it never comes off as robotic. It's more so kind of like ethereal.
yeah, ethereal. Like yeah, that's I was mentioning with the alien movement. Like it enhances the story rather than like take away. And it's like he's still doing the iconic poses and attacks, so there's still that
Mhm.
continuity there.
Like
Um,
the way he flies is really cool. I love that one scene during the second kaiju battle where he just flies in and then does a pinwheel spin attack at it. Like
yeah,
that's something you'd never see in a regular Ultraman show, but it looks so cool.
or like a regular modern Ultraman show, because like that feels like a Showa effect. Because
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
like
And like the transformation is different almost every time. Like I love that one transformation. Um when what's her face, the buddy, is being held captive and he
Yeah.
goes to transform, and you see Ultraman's hand come out from the floor and grab him as it grows upwards.
Yeah, that they just oh man, they went really hard. Like because this film has been in editing for 2 years, more than 2 years because of COVID. So
Mm.
they really took that time to polish the effects in editing.
Yeah, like
So,
it's really put the expectations like up to the moon for me with Shin Kamen Rider.
well, Shin Kamen Rider isn't going to use CG like they said. They said it's going to be more practical. So, but
That's true, but I'm also speaking character wise and thematic wise. Like how much harder is Ono gonna go to kind of cap off this spiritual trilogy?
yeah, because like I mean, people have said it's a full quadrilogy with Ava 3.0 plus 1.0, but no, that's
I
already
ain't
part of
watching
it.
that shit.
No, that's part of its own quadrilogy that has its own like fish to fry. Like this is the Toku trilogy we're talking, and like there
Yeah.
is talks about a Shin Ultraseven possibly being a thing, and I'm very open to that. I love Ultra
That'd be
7.
cool. I'd be open to a Shin Ultraseven. I'd be open to a Shin Super Sentai. I'd be open to a Shin
And Super
fucking.
Sentai already exists. It's called the High School Heroes.
I'd be up for a Shin Space Sheriff Gavon.
Yeah,
I don't know if Ano likes Gavon at all. But then again,
yeah,
he wasn't like a huge Godzilla fan, and he made that movie.
yeah. Just if he has something to say and if he has a message, then why not?
Hmm.
Because like this was clearly made out of passion for Ultraman, and
Oh yeah, Ultraman is like Ano's favorite thing in the world.
yeah. I mean, it's like one of his first like earliest projects was just making a fan film of Ultraman for like a film class. So
yeah, and like he also does a great little thing in here to kind of show off his love for classic sci-fi in general, because there's the one nerd character who has a model of the Starship Enterprise and Thunderbird 4, I think it is, on his
oh, I
desk.
completely missed that.
Yeah. And like I watched the credits all the way at the end because there was just something in the back of my head saying like, oh, there might be a post-credit scene, but there wasn't.
Well, pretty song. Like I've been listening, like even before I watched the film, I've been listening to that song on repeat, and it's very pretty, and I love it a lot.
But there's actually a point like right at the tail end of the credits where you just see like, oh, they had to give money to CBS and put it in the credits to have the Starship Enterprise be in this movie, and I found that funny.
This was a labor of love. Like this is very much a labor of love first and foremost for these guys.
Yeah, it's really good. Like here's the thing, I gave it a 10 out of 10. I think it's a 10 out of 10, but it's like a soft, comfortable 10 out of 10. Like I was thinking about how I wanted to talk about this movie today. And like here's the thing, this movie didn't blow me away like Shin Godzilla did. It very much met my expectations, which were very high because of Shin Godzilla. But because of that, I didn't like spend all of today going like, holy crap, that was an amazing movie, like I did for a week after I first saw Shin Godzilla. I was more so like, yeah, that was really nice. That was good. I got to do that. Like it's almost like, say you're a guy who has breakfast at IHOP every day, and IHOP's good. You usually know what you're gonna get, and it's usually good. Occasionally you'll have a bad meal if there's a new cook in the kitchen that day, but like it's always kind of just the same and good. And that's kind of how tokusatsu has been for us for the last year or so, with the weekly releases. But this was like, we got some extra money. We got some extra spending money. Like maybe our tax returns came in and we decided, you know what? We're going to go to the nice local gourmet pancake place for breakfast today. And oh man, it was just as good as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Man, that was just great. I was just like, this movie's just been taking up all my brain space. Like, just thinking about like the messages. I'm gonna make a video on it. I'm already writing parts of it, but like,
It seems like everybody but me already has a video in production.
in the works. Yeah, but like, sorry.
It's fine. Like I will make a video on this eventually. It's just, I gotta finish the other thing
maybe
first.
wait till Shin Kamen Rider comes out, so you can do like what you did.
I
with the
could do
90s
a big video on the whole trilogy. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'll fill in the Evangelion parts for you. Also, before we the other music, the background music, not just the film's theme.
A lot of it's taken directly from the original one, but like clearly re-recorded.
Yeah, I've been listening to some of the original composed tracks with like an orchestra like singing in like English. Like it is hype as hell. Like I need to share that stuff with you like after the podcast.
Yeah, yeah, do that. I'll look into it. But no,
Yeah.
this was I almost said this was a great episode. This was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I'd really
Yeah.
recommend it to
I love
anyone who hasn't seen
Tokusatsu.
it. I love Japan, period. Uh, and like there's some cool effects in this that you're just never gonna get in a regular weekly Toku show. Like the first alien they encounter, how he's like a completely hollow boy who's also a shapeshifter. He was so cool to watch.
Yeah, it's just God, this film is so good.
Mhm.
Can't wait to
Yeah.
talk more about it in the coming months and weeks, especially as it gets. I will definitely, when the film eventually comes to theaters, I'll definitely pay again to watch it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would like to watch this in a theater, and I would also like to get a Blu-ray of it, but I still haven't gotten a Shin Godzilla Blu-ray. I've been kind of dragging my feet on that.
Maybe
Uh,
I'll gift you it one day. I don't know.
and we'll see. But that is the new releases. We made it through the new releases, and it only took a fucking hour. Let's get on
God.
to the news. Uh, so first things first, kind of a tiny little update, but it is Ultraseven's 55th anniversary, and to celebrate, Subaraya is releasing it on a weekly basis on their YouTube channel. Although I don't know about you, and I'm double checking it right now. Yeah,
Available in our country. Dang it!
I don't know why they would upload it with English subtitles and then not make it available in America. That's
They
bizarre.
did way better than this. What the hell? Maybe they're
Yeah.
like it's a scheduled upload.
It's entirely possible. We could get it. We could like have it next week. But like, here's the thing: if Super makes this available in America, I might finally sit down and watch Ultra Seven because like I tried to do it once immediately after I originally watched Ultraman, and I just found it way too slow and boring. Like I needed to watch something modern. I'd been watching so much old Toku at that point. So I got like 3 episodes in and said, I'll come back to this later, and I still haven't. But yo, Superaya, you want to make that happen? You want to release that? You want to let me get on that? Give me like a regular weekly way to do it. I might start watching Ultra Seven and talking about it on the show, but for now, we'll just wait and see. But we did also get a bunch of merch announcements because Narikiri World Showcase happened this week, which is a big toy event in Japan. And to kind of pitch into that, Bandai teased a whole bunch of collector grade products that they have coming soon. And by tease, I mean they showed silhouettes that were very clearly like, oh, that's what that is. And what we can clearly tell is probably coming. These are probably all 2023 releases. There's going to be a CSM Eternal Edge Lost Driver, a Gao bracelet from Gao Gaigar, a CSM Black Sun Driver, an Ultra Prop replica. I don't know why it's shortened that way. That's weird. But we're getting a beta capsule, the Gokai Saber, and Kamen Rider Black's belts. Obviously, I'm very hype about those last two things. I don't know if I'll be able to get them because I don't know what my financial situation is going to be like next year. But I'm really interested to see how all these turn out because these are all.
The capsule's the Shin Ultraman version.
It could be. Is there like a huge difference between them
Yeah.
visually?
Like, cause like the Shin Ultraman one, both the suit and the beta capsule was very long. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen original Ultraman, so I didn't remember what the beta capsule looked like. But they give you some nice shots of the Shin Ultraman one. It looks like a cool device.
Yeah.
But that's it for general merch news. Let's move into Kamen Rider news. And first and foremost, bit of an actor update. Masahiro Inoue announced he's quitting his agency that he's been with for over 15 years. This was the agency that got him the role in Decade. And we don't know what he's doing next. He just said that he wants to take his career in a new direction. And
I
that
know he's going indie, so like he's been working on an indie toku called Pink, so.
But like I didn't know if they were if he was working on that entirely on his own or he was trying to produce it through this agency. Like we haven't gotten an update on that in a long time.
Yeah. Probably it looked like an indie project, so.
But I mean, like, it doesn't seem like it was an unamicable split. So hopefully he's doing okay, and we're gonna see him in future projects.
Yeah, it just seemed like, hey, I'm getting up there, so yeah.
I want to try something different. Got to shake it up to stay relevant.
Yeah.
But let's move on from that and get into some current Kamen Rider news, which is that we've gotten a better look at Tycoon's proper form, Ninja Raise Buckle, and it doesn't really say Ninja super hard for me, except for the little bit of chainmail detailing on the arms, but it looks good.
Kind of reminds me of Type Technic, and I'm one of the few people who like Type Technic.
I hate Type Technic, but I think the colors definitely work on this suit, unlike they do
Yeah.
on Type Technic. Oh, I just realized he has fucking shurikens on his elbow joints.
Yeah. Also, he has a little like a ninja muffler we can see.
Mhm. And a new weapon, which is a bow and arrow that splits apart into kunai, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, we've seen that in Kamen before, but it's neat nevertheless.
I don't know if we've seen that specific thing, but we've seen weapons that are similar.
That's what I'm saying. Like, not the weapon. I mean, well, there is reused props and Geats, but like, yeah.
Yeah, but that's probably going to debut. I would think like episode 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Oh.
before the month's up.
Mm-hmm. But speaking of stuff that's coming soon in the shows, we got a whole bunch of DonBrothers news, and we're going to kind of go through this bit by bit. First off, Don Momotaro is getting a new form and a new mecha. The Goldon Momotaro is going to be his new form, and he's going to get the OmiKoshi Phoenix, which will allow them to make Gold Dawn Onitaijin. How are you feeling about this?
I really like the suit. The mecha, I can take or leave.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not in love with either of them, but it doesn't look like a bad suit. It's just kind of like typical power-up stuff.
Yeah, I love the cape. I love the cape. The cape is so good.
The mecha maybe looks a little bit too gaudy for me, but I'm sure it'll look fine in the CGI. The big thing out of this, though, and it looks like we're going to actually be dealing with this next week from the next time period, Black Onitaijin Murasame is going to be a thing, which is entirely a repaint of Don Onitaijin, but there's going to be new weapons in place of the swords, and it looks like the chest and head are remolded. It's kind of a typical black repaint, but also I just realized it has the upgrade skirt parts just on it, which, ooh, that irks me. But I like the look of this. It looks like a cool toy, but it'll probably just be in that one episode.
Yeah, like Zenkaiger did not have a great record with its dark mecha.
Mm-hmm. But no, it looks cool. I like the repaint. And circling back around, because Buster pointed out that I forgot to talk about this. There was another kind of Figuarts event that happened. This is actually just last night. And from that, we got in-hand shots of the two figures that are going up for pre-order this month. The Lone Wolf Vulcan and All Dragon Wizard. And both look really good in hand. I'm liking how pliable that skirt is looking on Wizard.
Yeah. But then the big boy.
Yeah, they gave us our first proper image of SH Figuarts Shin Kamen Rider. No, not that one.
The one of the coat.
Yeah, you really can't see much of this guy because he is wearing the coat, but it looks badass in this photo.
Yeah, I kind of want it just because I like the simple action of giving Ichigo a coat just makes him so much cooler than he already is for me. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just...
I want to wait and be sure I like the movie and this version of the character, but I already know I really like that suit.
Yeah, that suit is beautiful, both like in figure form and in like from what we've seen in the movie so far.
Mm-hmm. But now it's time to talk about probably the second biggest news item of the week, which is it's that time of the year, folks. We have
lives again.
We have the trademark for the next Super Sentai. DonBrothers is indeed not the last one. It worked, everybody. Inoue saved the franchise again.
Sweep!
But next year, for the 47th Super Sentai, we are getting Osama Sentai King Oger, which, if you're not aware, you translate that into English, it's Master King Squadron King Ranger.
This is the greatest name of all time, and also this is like the most time I've gotten for a trademark because I love kings and royalty and tokusatsu, so I'm like, ooh, an entire Sentai based around that? You got my brain racing.
Yeah, it's a fucking ridiculous name, but in an exciting way. And like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up, and nobody take this as gospel. Like, massive pinch of salt here.
All right.
But the audastic nature of this name has me low-key thinking Inoue might be coming back next year.
I at least think Shirakura is going to... This is going to be like... He's going to complete a trilogy with Zenkaiger, DonBrothers, and now King Oger. Mm-hmm. because like I feel like at least he will like at least see, okay, let me make sure everything is working so I can like leave and go back to making a Kamen Rider Geo special or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this just sounds like a name in a way would come up while he's
Yeah.
just goofing around.
It does feel like a very Inoue gag name. Like
Uh-huh.
yeah, it kind of
And
does.
like the rumor seems to be that the color lineup is the same as DonBrothers, except instead of there being a gold Six Ranger, there's going to be a purple Six Ranger. Um, and that the visual motif is going to be bugs, which could
Yeah.
be very interesting. I'm not gonna get too hype about that because I've heard Bug Sentai rumors like every other year since I got
Yeah,
into
I was about to
Sentai
say
fandom.
like people really want a Bug Sentai at this point.
My one like hope for this season at the moment is I hope all the helmets have some way of looking like they're wearing a crown.
Yes, I was just about to say. Like I was just like they better have crown helmets, and I'm like, man, it's just oh man, the possibilities has me like my brain
Bring
racing.
roll calls back this year. Everybody should be like the king of suffing.
Yeah, like I don't like one of my friends was talking like, hey, what if it was like, what if it's like each character is from a different kingdom or
Mhm.
something? Like just
Like
so many
say they
possibilities.
are doing bugs. Have the roll call be like
King of the Kabuto or something.
the king of beetles, King O Red or something
Yeah.
like that.
Also, they all better have capes.
Apes would be nice. I'm not getting my hopes up.
Yeah, fair. I mean, Don Brothers is bringing back capes, so
There's like barely any capes in DonBrothers.
well, like one cape, like one.
One cape does not a trend make, sir.
Also, Zen Kaiser.
That was last year.
Yeah, but like they're open to doing capes again. But yeah, very excited. This is like the most excited I've been of a trademark because usually I'm like, okay, but like that because this gives us an idea of
My
what the
reaction
theme
to
will be.
trademarks has always been like, that is a name. Call me when you have some images.
Yeah, but like this got my brain racing, and I'm like, I need images right now.
Yeah,
Like,
but
and it's like,
we probably won't get them till like December, January.
yeah, and I was like, I'm enjoying Don Brothers, so I'm not like in a rush. So
Yeah. And I love how somebody replied to my tweet talking about this and was like, oh man, this means we're near the end of DonBrothers. This sucks. And I'm like, bro, a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts.
we're like, I know that guy. We're joking around. Like,
Okay.
yeah, don't worry. Like we're just it's just such a quality show that like we're sad to see it go, but we understand. It's just hard to let good
But
things
that's
end.
one of the things I love about Tokusatsu is at the end of the day, most things are self-contained. Like
Yeah,
we do get second seasons of stuff sometimes,
we're
but
about to talk about one.
for the most part, it's like this is one story, and either it's good or it's not. And if you like it, you can cherish it forever. And if you don't have to ever think about it again, unless you're a psychopath like me. And every 3 months, you go on a massive ghost rant inside your head.
Thank God you're not posted on Twitter. Otherwise, I would cancel you.
You found me long after I stopped doing that publicly.
Really? I feel
Yeah.
like I found you at the tail end.
You might have found me at the tail end. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that is it for Japanese Toku news. We're now going to talk about all the Power Rangers news out of Pulsecon. And they had the second panel on the first day, the Friday. And it was very obvious that you needed to have watched all of Dino Fury before this panel hit because there's a ton of Cosmic Fury news and it was all very spoilery. But also, that's what put them over Transformers for me and made Power Rangers my favorite brand of this year's PulseCon because they were the only one that wasn't just here's a bunch of toys. They also went into a bunch of actual franchise news and updates on what's happening with the show. And we'll get into that as we go, but first let's talk about the toy reveals. So the first thing they did was they just straight up showed us what the next wave is. And we already knew these names because of leaks and we had seen digital renders of Coda and Zoe, but we got to see in-hand models of Dino Charge Blue, Beast Morphers Yellow, the Wild Force Putrid, and Dino Fury Green, and I think they all look pretty good. Like
Yeah.
the civilian heads could be maybe a smidge better, but they look really close for Lightning Collection standards. The only real complaint I have with any of them is just I think of Izzy as more so having her hair down, and with her having it up in this figure, she weirdly kind of looks more like her mom to me.
I can see that. I can see that.
But it's still a decent likeness, and I want every figure in this way. These are all great picks, and they all look great. Like even the Putrid. I know the Putrid is a bit of a wild card. Nobody was really asking for Putrids,
except that one guy. I don't know who it is, but I'm pretty sure they exist.
Yeah, there's somebody. Comment down below if you're the one guy who wanted Putrids. But it looks like a really good figure of the Putrids, and I might have possibly, maybe, kind of, in some way, pre-ordered 4 of them.
Oh, for God's sake, this guy.
I can't help it. Army builders are like a drug to me.
Okay.
I need rehab badly.
Okay. Maybe we'll get you in it when we get to the freaking find my way to your house or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm still kind of irked that we're not getting a camera gun with Zoe, but like at this point, it's like it's not really worth yelling about it anymore. They don't want to do the camera gun because they didn't have a role play toy for it, and also it would be new tooling, and there's already
they have one on the basic line.
They did? I don't remember ever seeing that.
It came up with yellow.
Oh, I mean like a roleplay toy.
Oh, roleplay. Yeah, they never made a camera gun roleplay toy, which I'm like, I guess because they wanted to have the Nerf technology for Beast Morphers.
Yeah. And I mean, they're already doing a lot of new tooling for Zoe here, because I think other than like maybe her kind of crotch area, it's all new parts, because I think they would have had to sculpt a new female design for that suit with how unique it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she looks great. Koda looks great. Izzy looks great. I know I had joked that I wanted a removable skirt with Izzy, but I'm not at all irked that we're not getting that, because that was purely a joke. I didn't seriously think we could get that.
Yeah. And also they confirmed some stuff for 2023, like team completion.
Yeah, they did what they called a lightning tease round, where they popped up free silhouettes on the screen and said, these are free Rangers that are going to be us beginning to complete these free teams in 2023. SPD, Lost Galaxy, and Dino Thunder. So I know it's probably very likely, and we've had this discussion like 4 times now. I know it's probably very likely that they just mean they're giving us SPD Yellow next year, but I'm not counting SPD as completed until we get Cat and Nova.
They were only in 1 episode each, you fool!
But, like, I also want all the mooks from SPD, and Grum, and General Banog.
Grum would be a great pick. I really want a Grum.
Yeah, like, imagine a 2-pack of, like, an updated version of Doggy and General Grum. That would be amazing.
I was just thinking Grum and that little kid. That would just be funny.
A 2-pack of Grum and Mora, not Gumor, not Morgana, just Mora.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's cool that they're charging towards that. Obviously, we still need 2 more Lost Galaxy Rangers. We need both pink and yellow, and they can probably, if they want, they could put out both versions of yellow or pink. I could see them doing it because we've heard that it's going to be Kendricks in the main line from Josh. I just realized I always say Josh, not thinking that like there's probably people who listen to the show who don't know who the fuck I'm talking about. Living Ranger Key, the guy who does Lightning Storm, the weekly Lightning Collection news show, and has contacts at Hasbro, knows stuff way before we know it. He has said that as far as he has been told, the Lost Galaxy Pink we're going to get first in the main line will be Kendricks, but I could see them doing Corone as like a separate exclusive release at some point.
Yeah, like a 2-pack with like Corone Evil and Corone Good.
Mm-hmm. Or like next year's Walgreens exclusive is just here's the same figure but with a Corone head.
I don't know. I don't really follow Walgreens exclusives.
And obviously Tommy looks pretty good from this silhouette. I don't know. I'm gonna get him no matter what because that's the one version of Tommy in the show I like. But yeah, that was cool of them to do. I kind of wish they had shown us the next deluxe wave as well, because it felt like a little rush that was all the mainline Lightning collection they showed, but still
they
pretty
teased
good.
Alien Rangers.
Oh yeah, I almost completely skipped over that. They said that Alien Rangers is going to be coming to the line next year, which I know you're not particularly hype about, Buster. I feel like I'm the only person I know who actually likes Alien Rangers as a show, and even if you don't, you gotta admit, the Kaku Ranger suits are pretty dope.
I hope they're treated like a squad, so I could just get a complete team and just pretend they're Kaku Rangers and move on with my life.
I mean, I want the Aquitian heads.
Question, what do I even do with these brained bros?
Like, here's the thing: you don't have to use them. You can put them in a Ziploc baggie with the extra hands and forget about them. That's what I'm
probably gonna do, but like, I'm gonna forget about them.
But like, I'm always irked whenever the Lightning Collection doesn't give us civilian heads because it's usually such a standardized thing. Like, I'm still annoyed that my Ranger Slayer doesn't have an Amy Jo Johnson head.
Yeah. Anyway, or like a Amy Jo Johnson comic book head or something. I don't know.
But Draken. What?
They did it with Draken. They gave like
that's why I was saying like they could have very easily done, and especially now that we got the color swap 2-pack and that has heads based on the comic looks, they could have very easily given us a like not a head scan of Amy Jo Johnson, but like a head based on the art from that comic. But whatever, that's water way under the bridge. They then went to Black Nerd interviewing the Dino Fury cast, and this is where we got a lot of the franchise news. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of veer off into that for a minute. So they talked a lot about making the show and whatnot. They showed an updated version of the blooper reel with some stuff from season 2. Clearly the cast is getting along and gelling very, very well. They all seem like very, very nice, very cool, level-headed people. But the big thing they kind of went into was obviously Cosmic Fury, and the first thing Simon Bennett said about the show was what we discussed earlier. They are going to pick up right where Dino Fury left off, which has me very excited. And then they talked about, like, obviously it's going to be much more space themed, and because of that, and on the actual stream, they cut the interview off here, but you could go watch the full interview, and this is where Simon went into like all the news, and like everybody kind of got distracted and was freaking out about that while they did the rest of the Power Rangers panel. But we're just going to talk about that now before going into that stuff. So first and foremost, they're loosely using Q Ranger. They are not going to be using the Ranger suits, but they will be using the Zord footage, which I think is fine. Yes, I like the Q Ranger suits. I would like to see them in Power Rangers, but it doesn't completely irk me that they're not using them, especially because another thing we found out is this is only going to be 10 episodes. It is 10 episodes that are all going to be released on the same day around the world exclusively on Netflix.
Yep.
And I'm personally very much for that. Like, would I like a full 22 episode season? Sure. Would I like Q Ranger suits? Sure. But it would be very hard to work all the new characters they would have to create or give Ranger powers into a 22 episode season to use all the Q Ranger suits. And like cutting it down to 10 episodes, obviously it's impossible. And my personal hope is if we're doing less episodes, I hope that they still have the 22 episode budget. It's just more budget per episode.
Yeah, my personal thoughts on it, I mean, like, I don't know how you would stretch, like, it would get kind of annoying to stretch the Zed plotline, because we've established that already, so this could just go much faster into, like, the big climactic story beats they want to hit.
Yeah, and I mean, we didn't talk about it very much during Dino Fury earlier, but, like, we're both fans of the way this show has been handling Zed.
Yeah, very much so. This is, like, peak Zed.
And I'm looking forward to this season being like, all right, we're going to take out Zed once and for all.
And they're probably going to use the Don Arbogast suit, because they said they're not using Q Ranger footage. Mm-hmm. Monster footage is still on the table. Now,
here's my question. Do you think they're going to use the Mooks from Q Ranger, or are we going to see the return of the Z-Putties?
Both. I'm gonna like, maybe we'll see versions of the Z-Putties, but I think we're still going to see Q Ranger Mooks. I think I don't know at this point. Simon Bennett said they still haven't gotten the suits, just concept art for the suits.
Yeah, and they showed concept art for what gold and green are going to look like.
And the entire Power Rangers fandom is now in a state of hell more than it already is.
Yeah, because nobody can ever agree on American original suits unless it's the Titanium Ranger. But I think they look fine. They're not my favorite suits ever, but they look like a decent evolution of the Dino Fury design philosophy. And I kind of like, especially like the detail of like everybody's going to have like 6 Ranger shoulder armor.
Okay. I like the suits. I understand why they're designed this way. I do wish there was a chest. I wish they kept the lightning bolt on the chest because like Zato had one in like the finale, and I assume he's keeping that suit for Cosmic Fury. So that just feels weird, and getting rid of it just kind of there needs to be more in the chest area. I feel just because like I don't know. I like Ranger logos on the chest. I'm sorry. It just feels a bit bare without it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's interesting. That has always felt like one of those love it or hate it things within the fandom to me. Because like I remember always just accepting it as like a fact of suits like Dino Thunder, and then like watching History of Power Rangers on like cars, like that looks stupid. It looks like they're trying to sell a product, and I'm like, dude, it's a show about selling toys.
yeah, and it's like I like again this is concept art, but like they still haven't made the suits yet. Like, and I do like I actually really like the artist who made this. Like, I know I've seen their art around, and I'm like super happy they got in, like official Power Rangers work. So kudos to you. I don't exactly remember your name, but I recognize your profile pic around. So I'm sorry for all the harassment you had to deal with. But yeah, I get the design philosophy of this being space armor for the Q Ranger suits. It kind of reminded me of Cosmic. It's not Forze, specifically his electric states, and I kind of hope they get similar material because electric states uses a very different material than the average Forze suit. So if they use that kind of baggy space thing, I think that will actually enhance the look of the suit. At least for gold. It would be.
I also love that everybody's got like new, more spacey weapons that still feel very much like something that would be a Toku toy.
Oh yeah, the original weapons are so good. I love the original weapons. Also, the new Morpher, I really like, and it looks like it might incorporate.
I didn't even notice the new Morpher. Let me pull the image up real quick.
Yeah, it's on Izzy. You can clearly see it. It's just a dinosaur head, but like it's gonna probably have you could insert a Q-Tama. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Oh, that makes me think. Because I saw that joke, a joke tweet about this going around Twitter, but like, if they do actually use Q-Tamas, what if they do use a Q Ranger suit? What if Tarek becomes Ryu Commander?
Oh. Yeah, because honestly, like, people were saying, like, oh god, if they bastardize the Void Knight suit, and I might turn to the dark side if, like, the Void Knight suit isn't as good, because...
And there's a moment where he gets it back for a second in the last couple episodes, and then that Morpher gets destroyed. But, like...
And they teased he might be coming back as a Ranger proper, which would be a great evolution for his character, I think.
Yeah, and they also said during the interview very explicitly, like, yes, we want to bring back some of the supporting cast from Dino Fury. Very specifically, they said Izzy's dad would be making another appearance.
Yeah, maybe like as a phone call, because what would he be doing in space?
I don't know. Maybe he finds out at some point during this show.
Yeah, just like freaking Looney Tunes his way to space. I don't know. But yeah, I like what we're seeing for Cosmic Fury so far. I just, like, I need to see a trailer. Again, they haven't even started shooting the show. But,
But they are working on the sets, and that kind of leads into the other big thing coming out of Pulse Con, which is that we got a little video call. We got to see some people on set in New Zealand. We're getting the return of David Yost and Walter Jones.
I'm okay with this, especially David Yost.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this goes. Like, there's a lot of character potential, and it's just really exciting to see David Yost return to the franchise after, like, he was one of the most publicly I had a horrible time on Power Rangers people for a long time.
Yeah, like Zeo was not great for him, despite some cool moments.
Yeah, hopefully they gave him a really nice check for this appearance.
Yeah, they better. Hasbro,
because I remember he was one of the people back during the filming of Megaforce. He was one of the people who was explicitly like, "Yeah, I'm not going to that shit." They basically offered to pay for my airfare, and that was it.
Yeah, not great. Now there is rumors that this isn't going to be Cosmic Fury, but a special. I don't know. Either way, I do think it would be better as its own special, just so like I can enjoy Cosmic Fury on my own. But
it's entirely possible. I would actually like it if they're like supporting cast for the whole season, but I don't necessarily need that. They could just be a one episode appearance and that'd be fine.
Yeah, just whatever. But it's nice to see them back, and I've kind of accepted that. Hey, if they want to shill MMPR, at least do it good. Zed was kind of like, oh, MMPR could be good, and Go-Go Power Rangers comic book is one of my favorite Power Rangers things. I think I can accept MMPR.
We get some good characterization for both of them.
Yeah,
like finally Zach's back from the Peace Conference.
Yeah. Maybe make a reference to the Omega Rangers if you feel like it. I don't know.
let's explain why Billy's not on Aquitar anymore. Like, at least give me a throwaway line about that.
Maybe he's still on
Um,
Aquitar. He's just on a vacation or something, or just like I'm on Special Power Rangers duties or something.
Oh, dude, me and Boingo were actually joking around before No Prize last night. Um, we we came up with the idea of just like completely piss off MMPR boomers by having them come back and be a gay couple.
Oh, yeah, that would be so cute. I mean, I was already thinking like Billy would be like, "Hey, I thought you were married to a woman." I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I broke up with her, and I'm now with this guy." You know?
Yeah, like have like here's how you explain why Billy's not on Aquitar anymore. He just shows up and they're like, "Hey, the legendary database said you went to live on Aquitar with a girl you were in love with." And he's like, "Yeah, that turned out to be just a fling and also apparently I figured out a couple months later I like boys."
Yeah, it would be pretty cool, especially because like in all ages media, we see a lot of like lesbian couples. We don't see a lot of gay men couples. And it's like
Mhm. Especially like older gay men who aren't portrayed as weird perverts.
or dads, because like
Yeah.
background dads to be specific. That's been a weird trend in modern animation. Not a weird
Mhm.
trend, like good trend, but can we do more with it? You know?
Yeah, yeah. So I've got very high hopes for those guys returning. It seems like it will be more of like a fun kind of play into continuity thing rather than a big ego stroke like it is whenever David Yost or not David Yost, ASJ and JDF come
Yeah.
back.
There's also rumors of Steve Cardenas coming back because apparently he had to cancel a con because he's going to film something, or
Hmm. I mean, Steve Cardenas was in Ninja Steel.
and he was in that one episode of The Completionist.
Yeah.
And Zach pretends to know what I'm talking about for 1 second. Anyway, let's talk about let's end with the worst thing they revealed.
What? No, they cut back to the panel and they did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They went over the Zap Astro Megazord.
Not the Astro Megs. Oh, I thought you were talking about something else.
No. The first thing they did when they got back from the Dino Fury cast was they went, okay, so you guys have already seen this, but here we still have to show it off, and we've got a few things we didn't quite talk about earlier with the Astro Megazord. Like they made a huge point out of showing like, hey, it comes with 3 sets of hands. It's gonna have about as much articulation as you could want in a robot. Like it's got a waist swivel and an ab crunch. There's ankle tilts. Like this thing is really kitted out, and they pointed out some of the new additional detailing and the different cockpits. We were very correct by looking at the stock photos. There is another cockpit up in the head for Megaforce or Megazord mode, excuse me. And overall, it just looks fantastic. I'm very much looking forward to getting this thing.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to say?
Good Megazord, good.
Yeah. And then they moved on to something we kind of knew was coming because of the way they hinted at it back during the Power Week fan stream. The second wave of Power Rangers Cross Street Fighter Lightning Collection was revealed, and it is Cammy and Ken as Power Rangers. And I agree with everybody. These look markedly worse than the first wave because these are toy original designs. However, I don't hate Cammy as much as everyone else does. I think Cammy actually looks like a pretty fun toy. I love that she's got posable hair. I definitely do agree that she'd look better if she didn't have a sculpted mouth. Ken, on the other hand, looks like hot garbage. I hate that he has exposed arms, and I hate that for some reason they put a goatee on his helmet.
Wait, they put a goatee on his helmet? What?
Yeah, he's got like a little black triangle.
Okay, they're lucky that Street Fighter V exists and has the worst Ken design known to. Oh, I just saw.
Yeah, I posted it in the chat.
Okay, I semi understand the reasoning behind Ken because he's homeless in Street Fighter 6, but at the same time, why does he have exposed arms?
Yeah,
Why?
he doesn't look like a Power Ranger. He looks like somebody who cobbled together a Power Rangers Halloween costume out of various parts they had lying around.
Which Ken is probably doing in Street Fighter 6, but I don't want a figure of that. I want actual Ranger Ken. They massacred my boy again.
Mm-hmm.
At least he actually looks really cool in Street Fighter 6. Cammy actually looks great. The only complaint I really have is you can tell someone else besides the Ryu and Chun-Li guys designed this, because I don't like the sculpted mouths. It makes everything super inconsistent with Ryu and Chun-Li.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of funny. All that being said, I think it was Toku Chris posted on Twitter. According to Pulse's sales numbers, these are the best-selling Lightning Collection figures ever.
Ever? Or like
the Street Fighter stuff as a whole. Like, these are selling just as well as Wave 1.
oh. Oh. Okay, that's good.
Like, this
I
must
do like
have
that.
crazy casual appeal.
Yeah, because like I've seen like lots of people who like they like Power Rangers, but they're not like don't talk about it like I do. Like they're like, oh, that Street Fighter design is super cool. I want to get that toy, you know.
Mm.
I just like, and I do agree. The Ryu and Chun-Li look fantastic, but like, yeah, they're really dropping the ball with these next few.
Then we got an interview with the comic writers, both Ryan Parrott and Melissa Flores. We're not going to go super hard into that because there's not a whole lot of news out of it, and also this isn't a comic show. But it was interesting. It was worth following up, and it gave us the confirmation that it's not Buster's time to jump back in yet because they're still on that original lore shit. I don't hate it, but whatever.
Let me know when they're going back to focusing on characters instead of making up stupid power-ups for Rita.
Mm-hmm. But then they plugged the selfie series because every panel that was about a brand that had a body in the selfie series had to plug the selfie series during this show because the selfie series was launching that day. However, I did enjoy this one a little more than most just because Jordan got 2 different selfie series figures of himself, and one of them he gave himself pigtails, and I thought that looked really funny.
Yeah, that's cute. That's cute.
I have actually already gone ahead and ordered a selfie series of myself, but it's not on a Power Rangers body, and I'm probably actually going to pop the head off of the body that it's coming on as quickly as I can and put it on one of 2 other ones I've got waiting.
He's a space Nazi, if you're wondering.
And then they played the David Yost and Walter Jones video on the stream because like that's a big mainstream news grabbing thing.
Yeah.
Very, very good Power Rangers panel this week. There's been a real glow up for Power Rangers as a Hasbro brand, not bland.
Yeah.
Since Power Week, I would say they've really been on a come up in these last couple months, and that's been just delightful to watch.
Like, even if you don't agree with a lot of the creative choices being made, the presentations are just getting better.
Mm-hmm. Like I was very much talking about this during our episode of Modular Components that's going to come out on Friday, where we discuss everything about Pulsecon. Hasbro over the last 3 Pulsecons has gone from boomers who kind of know how to use a computer to, oh, you're trying to appeal to the mainstream a little too much, to like, oh, we found our groove and our audience now.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to see what future Pulsecons, Fan First Fridays, Nintendo Directs, State of Plays, whatever they're going to do next.
I think they're going to be dropping Fan First going forward. I think it's just going to be called Fan Stream from now on because they don't want to have to. They don't want to have to make a new graphic for whatever day it's falling on.
It's just freaking have to make a graphic for every day of the week.
Yeah. But no, that is all the news that's fit to print. Major crazy week, but we kind of knew that going into it. And I don't have any old stuff or toys to talk about this week, so Buster's just going to close us out with a whole bunch of rambles.
All right, I finished my DonBrothers set. I got Don Dragoku / Torable. He actually comes with parts to become either Dragoku or Torable, which is very useful.
That's
pretty cool
neat.
figure. Pretty cool basic figure. I'm glad to have this suit. Like, I'm honestly, I was initially very off on this suit, probably because it was just another gold after like we've been getting so much gold and silver.
I remember hating it when it first got revealed, but like I've cooled down on that quite a bit.
I actually kind of like it now. Like, I like it, like especially in figure form. Like, yeah, it's still like, especially the gold is butterscotchy in this basic figure. But it's really cool, and I do love like posing Torable in like wild, like little like crouching poses because that's I just love that aesthetic. And yeah, it's nice to have a Goku figure at last.
You finally got one of the 70 billion Goku figures that Bandai has made.
Yeah. Also, got a henchman. I don't have it on my desk, but I do have it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's from the basic Dino Fury line, right?
Yeah, basic Dino Fury line. It's pretty good. It does scale with Lightning Collection. I think all basic Hasbro Power Ranger toys do scale with Lightning Collection, so good for everyone who wants to. Just if they don't want to get that specific one, but want to get that.
Yeah. Like, I still don't love the henchmen as a suit design, but the way they're used in the show, they've grown on me quite a bit. So, like, there
I
is a part
still
of me
wish we
that wouldn't
got
mind
like
rebuild some.
I still wish we got like a scene of like a flashback of the Dino Fury past Dino Fury Rangers of Zato and Aeon, just like with an army of henchmen. Like,
Oh
and that was
yeah,
yeah, that was like I wanted that from episode one, and we could get it with Cosmic Fury, but like that's like 0% chance.
I would
Uh,
be very surprised if we see the henchman suit again in Cosmic Fury.
yeah, I think most of the Real Soldier suits are being retired for that season.
Mhm.
Uh, what else? What else? Oh yeah, I finally finished every Heisei Kamen Rider show except Amazon's, but that's its own thing.
Amazon's doesn't really count as Heisei to me.
It
It's
counts
like
as
it's
Neo
off in
Showa.
it's like in its off own little timeline skew tangent
I think the
thing.
Geo stage show said it, the first and the next, and a couple others were just like Neo Showa or something, or
Mm.
New Showa or Heisei Showa or some funny bullshit. But yeah, I finished Decade. I liked the
How
first 20
so?
episodes. I love the first 20 episodes actually. They were very smart, especially having watched every series in chronological order up to this point. It was really satisfying and smart just seeing all the cool ways they played with concepts from those past series and kind of and like yeah, it's cheesy, but like and every episode would like every other episode of Decade would basically just spell out the message of the show. Um like of that show they were tributing was just so awesome. I'm sorry. I marked out.
That's very interesting to hear because like A Decade was one of the first like pre-Wizard shows I watched. And I watched it because I thought it was going to be like Gokaiger. I thought there was going to be like returning actors and everything. And like I didn't dislike it because Decade like does alternate universe versions of the shows it's homaging. I had a fun time with Decade, but I've also always heard people who had seen all the shows leading up to it before watching Decade that Decade doing all these like alternate worlds really pissed them off.
It really like it's I kind of understand because they do bring past actors, especially in the second half. They have like very like they bring characters from the Blade movie to be in DN's world, and it's like the same actors from the Blade movie, and that's a bit weird.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like they even get Kotaro comes back for a couple episodes,
The whole
and
damn Shinkenger cast is in an episode.
yeah, 2 episodes. Because Decade's 2 episode arcs.
Which, by the way, I love that episode, that
Oh
two
yeah, that
parter.
episode.
That's probably my favorite episode of Decade, actually.
Yeah. I did like I as a Blade fan, I did mark out when Kanzaki came back using King form. That was
Mhm.
great. And like I do know a lot of the bigger cameos were in the Decade movies. Now, okay, now I said I love the first 21 episodes. After Decade gets complete form, everything kind of starts to become a bit boring. Like the Shinkenger
Yeah,
episode's great, the Amazon episode is fine.
and
But
even the complete episode is kind of terrible.
I know I love the complete episode, if only just because it's like it's just I like the arc that Natsumi went on, and and also just seeing Dark Kabuto again, big mark out.
Fair enough. I like the Black two parter though, and I'm very excited to go and rewatch that after I finish RX.
Yeah, that's a very fun two. I admit a lot of the second half I haven't finished every Showa stuff, so it's like I didn't know if it's like oh are they doing this well, are they doing it not well. I did like the Amazon episode though. The Amazon episode is very cute.
I
Um,
barely remember that one.
Yeah, it's like really like I barely remember Amazon's interactions. I don't remember anything like around. I like Amazon the character in that episode. I don't like Amazon the plot. Like the plot structure it starts to become boring, like kind of repetitive.
Mhm.
And also the ending, there's just like no ending, both in the
There
movie
is
and
no
the show.
ending
Like
because
legit,
the ending is in the double crossover.
and even that, I went to watch that part of the double crossover. There really isn't an ending. It just kind of like he comes evil, he gets back to his senses. There's not really like a satisfying conclusion, and I can kind of see it in like a like in a meta text. I can kind of see it just like oh we just want to have a party season. We really didn't have an end. A decade, Kamen Rider as a whole will continue. Like, but
Mhm.
like I don't know,
I'm
man.
like I like that about Decade. I like that he doesn't really have a proper ending. He's just this character that shows up every once in a while.
I just wish they like showed that better. Like
Yeah,
instead of just
within the
improvising.
context of the show, it's extremely frustrating.
Yeah, and it's like I don't think that was like if that's what they wanted to do. I don't think it was communicated well, and I do
And
think
like
there's room to be improved.
I don't remember the full story. I might be misspeaking here. It's been years since I read up on this, but apparently the way the last episode ends, in basically a massive watch our movie, got Toei like sued by a parent teachers association.
Oh yeah, there was from what I've heard, there was a massive outrage to the end of decade that like a lot of parents were like not happy with that. Which makes which makes like them calling X8's movie True Ending a bit of a ballsy move, even though that's really just the summer movie. It takes place after the final arc instead of before the final arc.
Yeah, X8's summer movie. It's not bad, but it's a little meh, and like that name is a fucking bullshit lie.
It's extra content. It's post game DLC. That's not a true ending. But I did like Decade. It's on my lower tier of seasons, but I do like it a lot. The characters, they're very charming. I love the way they play around with the AR worlds, like both thematically. Some were better than others. Oh my god, they redeemed Hibiki. Oh my god,
the crab scene. That's one of the most hype moments in all of Kamen Rider.
Yeah, I know that got like quite a bit of people into Kamen Rider just when that scene was trending. And also, but just even as like someone who like really hated the second half of Hibiki, especially how they did Akira actually gets to be a writer.
Yeah.
Whoa! That just felt like, oh my god. I already wrote the Hibiki script. I have not written Hibiki Kabuto I've written. I haven't written Deno, Kiva, and Decade. But like I'm very happy for when I get to write Decade. That I get to say they redeemed Hibiki.
That being said, though, Kuga is utterly wasted in this show.
Okay, Kuga in this show has the same problem as the rest of Decade. The first 20 episodes he's great. They just his ending was just nothing. And I think that's why people, because they were really building to something great with like the new Godai, but then. Like, especially the Agito episode. I really love the Agito episode. They were really building to something really cool, but then they just kind of don't do anything, and it's just, like, man. And also, Ultimate Kuga's garbage. The new Ultimate
Rising Ultimate Kuga. That's a close contender for worst Kamen Rider suit of all time, just because the concept alone is like a massive fuck you to Kuga fans.
The concept, like, you already have Black Eyes Ultimate. Why do you need to go higher?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no. Like Black Eyes is already a threatening design. Like, you don't need to do
Ultimate. It's literally called Ultimate Kuga. You can't get any more powerful than that. How are you going to make a rising? I'm getting hot over here.
Yeah, sorry about that. But Decade good. Heisei Rider great. I love it. It basically defined Kamen Rider for like the modern generation.
Yeah, we're still kind of working off of the Heisei model, though we're starting to inch away from it.
Yeah, I mean, like, even that Geats is very Ryuki inspired. It's just like doing its own thing with the Ryuki model. Like, it's just very interesting to see how it changes and evolves, how each series plays with the overall themes, text, and it's just, God, I love Kamen Rider. Like, I'm very interested.
Kamen Rider's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited to rewatch Geo now with all the context behind that. Because, yeah.
Man, I'm really interested to see how you feel about the Blade episode the second time around, because I legitimately, like, I am super, super mixed on Geo, but, like, the Blade episode completely justifies that whole show, in my opinion.
Okay, actually, like, I'm gonna spoil that right now. Even when I was in my big Geo sucks phase, which is one of my worst phases in my life, I like Geo now, the Blade episode actually impressed me.
Yeah!
So that's actually telling you how good that Blade episode is. Also the O's and Genom episodes, but that's just because O's and X's are two of my faves. But yeah, good episode. That episode, good show. I'm probably gonna take a break from Kamen Rider for a bit because, man, there's only so much.
Out of stuff to watch.
I mean, I do got Showa, and I do got like a bunch of movies I could do. I do want to get to.
Dude, Showa is incredibly samey. You should do one Showa series every 5 shows you watch.
Yeah, probably. And I do like when the Showa video happens, it's gonna be all in one, like from the get go. It's not gonna be like here is a show review because I feel like there's only so much I can say, especially in my format. But yeah, oh my god, this episode went on long.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we already knew it was going to be a long episode with Dino Fury and Pulse Con, but, like, the universe just decided to throw us a few extra curveballs, and you know what? That's all right. That's fine. I'm I feel like we've had a bit of a good one here. We did okay.
Yeah, we
But
were rough at the beginning.
you know what else is okay?
What?
You plug in your stuff.
Yeah, I am Buster Corp. I have a YouTube channel where I guess I talk about Tokusatsu, although people watch the episodes where I talk about the YouTubers more than the episodes I watch about Tokusatsu. I don't know. But either way, go check out my stuff. I do a variety of content over at the Buster Corp YouTube channel, and also at Twitter at BusterBully3, where you can also see a thread for a current story I'm writing. There is no set release schedule. It is just whenever I get an episode done, an episode's done.
You write when you feel like it.
Yeah, which I've been writing a lot just because I've been really inspired. Which is like I'm not going to reboot this time. I've kind of just accepted I'm going to roll with the punches. Like if
you're locked in, you're a member. You're a well-established member of Modular Media with a specific brand now. Don't forget, you're here forever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So plug your stuff, Vac.
Hey, I'm the Vacuuminator. I am currently not able to make videos because I'm trying to get up funds for a new computer. Hopefully that'll be sorted before the holidays are over, but for right now, check out my backlog of Tokusatsu video essays at youtube.com/thevacuuminator. Follow me on Twitter at thevacuuminator, and follow me on Instagram at @_vacuuminator, where I post action figure photography. But folks, I think that's everything. I think that's going to do it for this week in Tokusatsu. I think we finally finished. So thank you all for watching. I hope we see you back here for whatever happens next week in Tokusatsu.